Hello everyone, that time of the week again to hear from myself. Tuesday the 12th of December, where is the weeks and the time gone? I hope that we're all safe and well. Those that couldn't be with us, get well soon, and those that are on holidays, enjoy. Next week is our last weigh-in of 2023 and officially back open on the 15th and 16th of January. Plans discussed at class. Any questions, just to let me know. It's really important to keep focused at this time of year. Look how far that we've come. Never mind if we're having a little bit of a blip over the past couple of weeks, it is that time of year, and I'm not being negative saying that, I'm being positive. That it's okay to put on a couple of pounds, it's okay to stay the same. There's a new year coming, a new month, everything else like that. To hold our own is okay at this time of year because there's just food everywhere, the weather isn't helping. There's a whole mix in there. So just to keep our focus, always look how far you've come rather than the one slight speed bump that might have happened recently. Okay, so this week's talk is how to stay mentally healthy during stressful times. So obviously some people find Christmas quite stressful, some people love it, some people hate it. But I think as a general rule of thumb, stress just finds you. No one goes out of their way looking for stress, but it's just life. Life comes in us, and therefore that's where the triggers happen. Because if we're not mentally feeling well, sometimes you just wake up and you just don't feel great, you just probably don't feel yourself. It's kind of a knock on for the day, it could be a knock on for the week, it could be a knock on for the month. So it is important to make sure we're looking after our mental health, because like that can cause more stress to us if we're not feeling okay. But like that, stress is a way of finding. So this is like a coping mechanism talk on what we can do to find our zen. So humans like control and being in charge. Okay, whether we like to admit it or not. So it's not that we're a control freak or anything like that, but we like being in control of our situation, in control of our eating, in control of our routine, in control of what we do on a day-to-day basis. So like that, when we're not in control, that's when we can get more stressed. I know for me, if I'm not in control of a situation or know what's happening next, I feel just kind of a little bit out of sorts, and it does cause a little bit of anxiety and stress. Stress is primarily driven by the lack of control, lack of predictability, fear or harm. So you've probably heard that I've talked about it in class, the fight or flight response when we get stressed or in a situation that we don't know what to do. We either stay or we run, and that's what stress can do. So that's why it's really important to look after our mental health. How are we going to do it? Number one is to prioritise sleep hygiene. Excuse me. So like that, you're looking for 6 to 8 hours sleep a night. Okay, it's really important to sleep. You know yourself, when you're not having a good night's sleep, you can tackle the world. And likewise, when we haven't, the whole world probably feels like it's falling apart on us. But sleep hygiene is really important where we sleep. So it's a little like if we get a chance to stay in a hotel or a B&B. We go in, generally there's white linen, there's no clutter, there's no clothes, it's quite airy, could be a big window, the blinds are pulled, and you go in and you just feel, I can't wait probably to put my head on that pillow tonight to go to sleep and have a good night's sleep. So sleep hygiene is really important of our environment, because that can add stress. Like if there's a pile of clothes we put in the wardrobe, a pile of laundry to be ironed, another pile for the washing machine, it can really come in us and cause extra stress. So remember that sleep is one of the top 5 points on our weight loss journey. Develop a restful and relaxing bedtime. That is really key. So ideally no phones, no TV, because again, what the eyes are taking in, it registers with the brain and can play on the mind throughout the night, again disrupting our sleep. So obviously to know what we're watching, maybe that there's no violence or crime or murder or different things in there, but it is important to get that relaxing and restful, maybe a bath beforehand, maybe light lavender incense. That's what I do. And even like that, I'm really tuned into that at the moment. Obviously we're having 2 young kids, that it's bath time, story time, lights out, sleep, and they thrive on that, and likewise so do I thrive on that structure and that relaxing routine, that it's not a kind of all go and quick get into bed and go to sleep, that routine is there. Get into bed at the same time every night, and obviously the morning to get up at the same time in the morning. Research shows that we're more successful, we're more productive. I know a lie-in can be nice, it's a while since I've had one, but it is important to get up at the same time, to have that routine. So yes, maybe the weekends you like to have a lie-in, they're really encouraging us to get up at the same time, and maybe at the weekends to have a nap during the day or have a little rest, more so during the day. Avoid caffeine before bed. So obviously caffeine is a trigger, it's a stimulant to keep us awake in there. So it is to avoid that. Keep an eye on the fizzy drinks as well, Coke Zero, Diet 7-Up, there is caffeine in them, so to avoid them because it does disrupt the sleep. Expose yourself to bright sunlight every morning. So that's, you know yourself, if you go to a sunny country on holidays, that's probably the first thing, throw open the blinds and we see the sunshine. Not bad out there today, nice bit of sunshine, but when there's not natural sunlight, it is important to turn on the lights. You know yourself, I think it was last Friday, the street lights were even still on till 11 o'clock in the morning, and it can just really come in on you and add to the stress. And therefore when we're stressed, what do? We eat. So that's why I want us to really work on our stress, really just to calm things down, find your zen. Number 2 then is to maintain your regular routine. So as much as we hate routine, maybe hate getting up at the same time, going to bed at the same time, that structure that we hate, that is where we thrive, and that's where success happens. You know yourself when you're out of routine, you're all out of sorts, and like that over Christmas and New Year, most people would say, what day is it? Because we're kind of in between, because we're not in that routine. When things feel out of control, your body may produce an abundance of the stress hormones, so adrenaline and cortisol. They're very dangerous to the body, and I always remember hearing maybe my mum say when I was younger, stress kills, when she'd be talking to people, and I just never got it. Now I get it, because sometimes when we're so stressed, it can feel maybe that we're plugged into electricity. It can be a crippling effect on the body as well, and just kind of shuts down everything. It is very dangerous to the body. It's very dangerous to the mind when we get too stressed. You know yourself, we've all been there. Again, just to calm that down, okay, because stress does kill, and it is a big factor in us eating. So when we feel stressed, what I would really encourage, and what I do, is remove yourself from the stressful situation, because turning to food or to have food and drink is only adding to the stress, and it's adding to the problem. Momentarily, yes, it's the solution. It's maybe someone giving you that cuddle that you need, and it just feels lovely, that block of cheese or the bar of chocolate or the glass of wine. But then 5 minutes later, the problem is still there, and we're still really stressed. So it's about really dealing with the stress and to stay mentally healthy. Number 3 then is to up your physical activity. This helps reduce stress, and it's also a feel good factor. Correct me if I'm wrong, but said no one ever after exercise, any type of exercise, I'm raging, I'm after doing that. It's usually the first step out is the one that is the hardest. So up your physical activity. Like that, we will be our routine over the holiday season. So it's important maybe to get out for a walk, maybe go for a swim. Just do something that you enjoy. Just to get outdoors is really important. To be out in nature in itself reduces stress. Number 4 then is to reframe self-talk. Stress triggers negative talk. One tiny little talk can totally spiral out of control, and again can play on a sleep routine. So it is important to reframe the self-talk. More positivity. Yes, I can do it. Of course you can do it. Look how far you've come. Turn the negative into a positive. And remember, that's where the power lies. The power and control lies with us to be able to do that. But stress does trigger those negative thoughts, and they can just spiral out of control. Number 5 then is to avoid emotional isolation. It's really important to know who your confidant is, to know who you can speak to. It is important to talk, especially for our men within the group. When we're good at talking, we're maybe not so good at talking about ourselves. Sometimes we see it as a weakness if we talk negatively about ourselves or talk about our emotions of how we're feeling, that we feel maybe we're letting the side down. But that's not the case at all. So it is important not to isolate ourselves. I think over this holiday season, it can be quite an isolating and emotional time. Number 6 then is sidestep stress eating. So again, as I've said, stress eating is not the solution. It can actually be the problem. Okay, because then we get raging with ourselves, then we start thinking the scales is going up, the clothes are getting tight and putting on weight, we start missing our class. So it is important to sidestep that stress eating. As I've said, what really helps me is to remove myself from the stressful situation, or if I'm asked something that I don't really want to answer, I just say, just leave it with me. Or if I'm in another situation, I might say, I'm just going to the bathroom, I'll be back in a second, and by the time I come back, the conversation has moved on. So it is important to remove yourself from those stressful situations. So really want to look after our mental health. Find your zen. Like for stress, like I find listening to white noise, I find listening to music, I find going for a drive, maybe listening to the sea, listening to your favourite song, something that just gives you that back in the moment, back to ground you. Okay, so I'll see less of each other next week for our last weigh-in of 2023. Really excited to see it all, and we'll do our total tally of the weight loss for the year as well. Have a fantastic week. Stay safe. Food diaries at the ready. Drinking our water, and to mind yourself is really, really important. But see you all in a brand new show next week. Bye bye. Love and kisses to all.